The International Development Secretary, Andrew Mitchell, is here on a visit. Thanks very much indeed for joining us on BBC News.
Good afternoon.
It was interesting watching you sort of talking to some of the refugees here and talking to some of the staff who were helping them. And you seemed genuinely, visibly moved by some of the stories that you heard. What were the kinds of things people were telling you here?
Well, you would have seen the large number of mothers and children who were completely silent as they waited to be registered. And the stories they told about the way they'd been attacked, any money that they brought with them for buying food had been stolen from them. They've arrived at the camp starving with children who are clearly suffering from great malnutrition. And if you look at their feet, you can see the way they're cut and bruised and hurt from this very long march. Some of them walking for more than 30 days and with absolutely clear prevalence of profound malnutrition amongst these little children here.
Indeed. I mean, you visited the Médecins Sans Frontières hospital and saw some of the tiny, tiny little children there, horribly malnourished.
Yes, the way in which they are able to treat them. Of course, if they can get them into the hospital and treat them, they can recover relatively quickly. But what we are hearing here from those who have made it is that they are the lucky ones, and that beyond the border in Somalia, there are huge troubles from a lack of food and water and a danger of really huge prevalence for malnutrition. And we are looking at a situation now where unless we are able to get food and water to very large numbers of people caught up in this drought through no fault of their own, we are going to see many people die in this region. Unless we get on top of this emergency, it could become a catastrophe in the next few weeks.
So practically then, what are you going to do to help? We heard families saying to you, you saying to families, we're here to help. What is it you can offer? What succor can you offer to these people?
Well, the whole international community has to be involved. I will be meeting representatives when I'm back in London in the middle of next week from all around the developed world to press the case for urgent action. Britain and the British taxpayer is here significantly helping something like 2 million people who are in need of food and water, with a particular focus on children and mothers with children which are suffering from acute malnutrition. And of course the remarkable response by the British public to the Disasters Emergency Committee appeal, already supplying tens of millions of pounds, which will be used by Britain's NGOs and charities who are working here in this camp and elsewhere to try and get support and help and food to those who desperately need it. So Britain is putting its shoulder to the wheel, not just the British taxpayer, but the public at large. And we need everyone who can help from across the world now to make sure that they focus on this developing crisis here, as I say, to stop it becoming a catastrophe.
Is there a feeling that Britain is very much leading the way here and other governments really haven't got an idea what's going on? They're not digging deep to try and help the people in this camp and indeed across the Horn of Africa and other parts of East Africa?
Well, I'm not here today to point the finger. I'm here to make it clear that there is an emergency developing of profound proportions. Britain, as always, has shown huge generosity and is in a leadership position now to try and resolve this crisis. We need others to do so too. We need the whole of the international community now to bend every sinew to help these poor people here who are in a desperate condition.
And the money that you've announced today, where will that be going? Some, what, £52 million?
That money will be going directly to help 500,000 people within Somalia, people in Ethiopia, people who streamed across the border into Ethiopia and Kenya from Somalia, to give them food and shelter and in some cases medicine, but also to focus particularly on children who are suffering from malnutrition, sometimes very acute malnutrition indeed, and mothers with very young babies, to in a very direct way to intervene to help them to stay alive.
Okay, Andrew Mitchell, the International Development Secretary, thanks very much indeed
for
joining us. So you heard it there, Britain very much, as the Development Secretary was saying, putting its shoulder to the wheel here. £52 million announced today. Already some £38 million announced at the beginning of the month that will go towards the people of Ethiopia. So a lot going on here to try and relieve the situation of the many thousands of people who are in desperate need.
Clive Myrie reporting there.